Joining us now, it is a Monday. That means Mondays with Meghan. Meghan McCain joins us here on KTAR. Meghan, how are you today?
I'm good. Thank you guys so much for having me.
You like that Kendrick Lamar halftime show, or did you boo it?
I didn't watch it. Please don't judge me.
You didn't watch
I found the Super Bowl so boring.
Well, it was a boring game, right?
Yeah, and I'm older, I'm 40, and I only know 2 Kendrick Lamar songs, and I felt like he was an odd choice, just given that you think of Super Bowl performers as mega icons.
By the way, you said you know 2 Kendrick Lamar songs. That puts you 2 ahead of damn near everybody else, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it was not my favorite. We tried to watch a little, and then I was just forget this. It's too boring.
Oh, gosh.
So, sorry, guys. I wish it was more entertaining.
Well, let's go into some of the stuff that Trump has been doing. Now in office for several weeks. I saw some of his approval ratings. They're up. And, he's not in the red like he was the first time around. He came in and, the approval went under 50. Now it's over 50. I like that he stopped the printing of the pennies. I like that he is banning the paper straws.
Unclear if he can stop the printing of the pennies, by the way, but yes.
But also, I think one of the biggest things is this Gaza deal. He says the Palestinians won't have the right to return to Gaza under his plan. He wants to take ownership of Gaza. Am I the only one that likes this idea? Bruce just snorted. Meghan?
I'm mixed on it. I want to see how this would play out, logistically. The part I don't like is if he wants to take it over so Jared and Ivanka can build hotels there.
Right.
I mean, and that was sort of in his original statement. But I thought that the last president really just gave a lot of passes to Hamas and a lot of passes to Palestine. I'm a very pro-Israel person, as I think you guys know, and I'm very happy to see that there's finally some justice and some of more hostages returned, albeit they looked like they had been mistreated pretty badly in the images that came out just yesterday. But I'm liking this pass so far, but with everything, I'm just cautious. Let's go cautiously optimistic.
Bruce, you snorted. Why are you snorting?
What, on the idea that we're going to build resorts in Gaza?
Nothing else has worked in the past.
No.
Yeah, sorry if I don't take that seriously.
Give me a different idea.
Yeah,
right?
Sorry. I remind you that I get accused of Trump derangement syndrome, TDS, and I finally figured out what it means.
Okay.
If you believe what he says, you have Trump derangement syndrome.
I don't think that's it.
If you don't believe what he says, you have Trump derangement syndrome. So at least it's covered on all sides. I don't believe it, by the way. I think it's ridiculous also. And by the way, I don't think the United States should be involved in the Middle East, especially in that area, full stop, period.
Well, what you're saying, too, what he has been pressed on is this is very much anti what he ran on. Because he ran on being no more forever wars, America has no business, America first. So I have been surprised just from a strictly policy perspective that this was something that was even brought up in any kind of situation. And I do think it's one thing to say it in a press conference with Benjamin Netanyahu, and it's another thing to send American blood and soil over there to actually do the job.
You're here.
Mondays with Meghan. Meghan McCain joins us every single Monday. A lot of our listeners actually texted me a couple things about Elon Musk. And they said, are you going to ask Meghan about Elon? And I said, yeah, let's talk about it. How
Sure.
comfortable or uncomfortable are you that he's got an office in the White House? He's not an elected official, but he's dealing with a lot of things that are important to our everyday lives. How are you handling this, and what do you see?
So I am sort of always hesitant when it comes to tech billionaires. And this is just a stereotype. I think they're weird. I think they're socially uncomfortable. I don't think they really understand the pulse of average Americans. And this is a general stereotype. I've met a few. They're just as weird in person. And just for a little anecdote, I actually one time was pulled in, and my husband was, to come explain to Facebook. This was 10 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, how Republicans think. We were an endangered animal that needed explaining. I'm Jane Goodall for spread America. So
Right.
like that's my last interaction with Mark Zuckerberg. So whatever. But no one voted for Elon, and I think you see those T-shirts and those like signs everywhere that no one voted for Elon. I like some of the stuff he's doing, but then I just had a conversation with a woman today whose son was supposed to start doing cancer research at NIH, and then she thinks her son might be fired. My dad was treated for cancer at NIH. There are incredible people that work at NIH. Cancer research, I think, is vitally important to the future of this country. I don't understand why that would be something that we would want to get rid of under any circumstances. It seems pretty bipartisan. But then when you're talking about, doing like sort of woke sexual education in foreign countries like USAID was doing, of course I'm against that. So I wish we would stop being so like throw everything out, throw the baby out with the bathwater in these situations. But I think it's weird. I think it's weird he has a office in the White House. I think he's weird. I think any man who's like, impregnating 70 women a year and then talking about how he's a good father when he couldn't possibly parent all these people, I think all of it's weird. And maybe I'll get, I don't know, maybe he'll do something to my Twitter account. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a chance.
I think it makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'll put it that simply.
I think one of the issues, and when you talk about that is, I think everybody can agree. Is there waste, fraud, and abuse in the federal government? Yes. Only a lunatic would go, nope, it runs like a well-oiled machine, right? It's as lean and mean as it can. I think one of the issues, and count me as one of them, is, well, they're not interested in waste, fraud, and abuse in the federal government. They're interested in waste, fraud, and abuse in only the parts of the federal government they don't like. I am consistent. I'd cut it all by 20% across the board. Full stop, period. Mm-hmm. From the Pentagon to educate. You guys are all getting a haircut. We're getting in line, and we're going to right-size the government. That's not what they're doing.
Very libertarian of you, Bruce.
Thank you. I'm consistent. We have too much damn government in the world.
So what?
I agree.
So is it bad that Trump is looking at the books and saying, "Hey, let's cut some stuff"? But it's kind of like, I think you said it, Megan. It's like, why do we have to go all the way to the other side and just cut everything? Why can't we look, see what we can cut, save people some money, some taxpayer money, and then go from there?
Yeah, and I also just think blanketing, like, of course, there's people in the DOJ that I think are incompetent morons, of course. But then there's people in the DOJ that I think are, absolutely, keeping us safe and helping America. And again, I just wish it wasn't this giant, like, swath of people, of just like taking and throwing everything out, like I said. But Elon makes me uncomfortable. And, he wasn't elected by anyone. And quite frankly, he came in at the 11th hour with Trump. And I have a lot more questions. She's
Meghan McCain. It's Mondays with Megan, for goodness sakes. We're checking in with her. She is live right now in the belly of the beast. She's in the swamp.
That's right.
Yes.
She's surrounded by the swamp creatures, for goodness sakes, and has her finger on the pulse. I know you are.
It's kind of making me like a little like weirded out recently.
Okay, so I'm gonna go down something because, of course, we're like we're Twitter BFFs. We follow each other.
You're my best friend.
Yeah, we are. You have some very passionate positions regarding cabinet appointments and the confirmation hearings that are still ongoing. And one of them happens to be the godmother of your children. Yes or no?
Yes, Tulsi Gabbard.
Right.
The almost DNI chief, right, that I think will be confirmed tomorrow.
Oh, is that when I wasn't sure what the votes were scheduled.
Tomorrow.
Got it. Is it fair? Now, you put some things that I probably would push back against, including, isn't it the role of the Senate, advising consent, to ask tough questions and to have these hearings? Granted, they've all become performative art. I say become. I don't know when they started becoming performative art. It was a while ago. When, depending on whether you have an R or D next to your name, they talk about how beautiful your eyes are, or when did you stop beating your wife? It's like one of the two. But there is a role to be played by the Senate, isn't there?
Oh, yeah, of course. My dad was a senator for 35 years.
Yes.
Of course, I believe in that. What are you asking? Just like about my tweets about primarying people who voted against her?
Well, I just thought you took a very staunch opinion against the concept of really what I thought was confirmation hearings, where people were asking tough questions and deciding whether or not just Tulsi Gabbard, but others. It wasn't the confirmation hearings. It was the follow-ups and and again, this is public, like Senator Todd Young
asked my friend Congresswoman Gabbard to fill out all these questions. I felt like he was not only disrespectful but misogynistic. And if you were leading a confirmation hearing against a woman, Bruce, I'm sure you would call her by her title of Congresswoman or Lieutenant Colonel. You wouldn't call her Tulsi. Like, I was in that room, and it was like 4.5 hours, and it was very long and very intense. And I just felt like there were people sitting there that didn't understand the broad mandate of the coalition that includes RFK and Tulsi Gabbard. And look, I have like a few issues with RFK, but I also heard the American public loud and clear. And it was just very obvious to me that there's a lot of people in power right now who are not talking to average Americans and didn't really get how or why Trump won. And look, politics is a really dirty game, and I don't like bringing my fangs out very often, and I really don't do it that often. But I felt like in this situation, it was important, and I did, and I'm proud of it, and I'm proud that she's going to, 99% get confirmed tomorrow.
10-4. Meghan, thank you. Appreciate it.
Sure. You could ask me any hard question you want, Bruce. I'm not a daisy. Like
I know that you're not. Oh, I know you can handle it. No,
I
you're. Listen, I'm slightly afraid. Quite honestly.
Oh my gosh! Don't be afraid.
When it comes down to
just
it.
known me since I was like 23. It's fine.
She's not afraid of anything, Bruce.
No, she is. She is fearless. She is Meghan McCain, and we appreciate you spending time with us Mondays with Meghan.
Thanks, Meghan.
Let's do it again next week. Okay?
See you next week.
Oh my gosh! Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. It's so fun to come on. I love your show. I love you both, and thank you for having me.
Outstanding.
Right. See you, Meghan.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Your evening out there in D.C.
Mondays with Meghan.
Thank you. Bye.
All right.
Bye-bye. All right. Are you purposely leaving your children all of your inheritance, or are you cutting them out of it? We're going to tell you what some billionaires, speaking of the billionaires, what